Welcome to my February update from Strasbourg. The headlines. We're debating Syria, Zimbabwe, Singapore FTA. We're adopting new rules on animal welfare and fisheries. Whilst in Westminster, political paralysis continues. The crisis in Syria may not be headline news anymore, but the human suffering continues. US-backed Syrian forces launched an attack on ISIS' last stronghold, but the conflict is still far from being resolved. The EU is hosting very timely a conference on the future of Syria next month. Speaking in the plenary, I stressed the need to ensure the conference will not only raise further humanitarian aid, but also mobilise international and particularly regional support for a step towards a political solution. Of equal concern is the recent government crackdown on anti-government protesters, including trade union leaders and the opposition in Zimbabwe. I had great hope last year when I observed the elections in that country that repression of previous decades was over, but these hopes and expectations have been dashed. Given Russia and China's growing influence, I stressed in the plenary the EU needs to have a clear strategy, including actively to support efforts at dialogue between stakeholders, with a view to strengthening the economic transformation for the benefit of all Zimbabwean citizens. Parliament also gave a green light for a wide-ranging free trade agreement with Singapore. In a time when Trump pursues an America First trade policy, the EU continues to show support for free and fair trade. The FTA will not only enhance the access to Singapore market, but even more to the growing ASEAN region, which as a whole is a 3 trillion economy and a market of over 650 million consumers. As S&D Group, we ensured this agreement sets also benchmarks on sustainable development and strong protection for workers. Thanks to the continued pressure by our group, the Singapore government committed to ratifying 3 outstanding International Labour Organization core conventions. Animal welfare, I know, is one of the issues that is of top concern to Labour members. Animal transport is a source of huge stress and suffering for animals. Therefore, members, including me, have campaigned for a new legislation that will strengthen the protection of animals being transported within and outside of the EU and enforce better controls and tougher penalties for infringements of regulations. I'm very pleased that the legislation was voted through. What concerns me is that when we leave the EU, these standards may not apply anymore to the UK. Now, we don't often associate animal welfare with fisheries, but it's of equal importance. The exploitation of fisheries can harm their reproductive capacity. Therefore, Parliament agreed a new plan for Atlantic fisheries management. It's been quite a strange Strasbourg session for me. People keep asking me what is happening with Brexit, and of course we are no wiser than last time. I'm rather embarrassed by the UK government that we have not managed to find a deal and how to take this situation forward. But I'm sure by next time we will have some answers. That's all from me here in Strasbourg. I look forward to seeing you again in March. Goodbye.